I'm Alex Michelson. This week on The Issue Is, the second family comes home to California. We go one-on-one with second gentleman Doug Emhoff, reflecting on his first year in a role he created. How does California shape him? And how does he respond to his wife's critics? Plus, the issue is California's crime spree. Multiple local women killed by homeless men in random attacks. Where do we go from here? With us, Sacramento County District Attorney Anne Marie Schubert. She disagrees with many of the Democrats' criminal justice reform efforts. She joins us to talk about her run for California Attorney General. The Issue Is starts right now.
Broadcasting across California, you're watching The Issue Is.
And welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Alex Michelson. This week we marked 1 year since Joe Biden and California's own Kamala Harris took their oaths of office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
That is the moment when Kamala Harris made history, but her first year has also included a series of struggles and sagging poll numbers. The vice president returned home to California this week. Here she is at a fire station in San Bernardino, where she announced that our state is receiving more than $600 million for wildfire prevention.
This is the best way to fight, we believe, is to focus not only on reaction, but on prevention.
Meanwhile, her husband, second gentleman Doug Emhoff, appeared at this event. We were on hand as he supported the Sova Food Pantry in Van Nuys. In the past year, Emhoff has traveled to 31 states to support the administration. We spoke with him in an exclusive interview. Doug Emhoff, welcome to The Issue Is for the first time, and welcome home.
It's so good to be home, and I mean home. I went to CSUN right around the corner, Agora High, and then USC, so it is good to be home, and it's good to literally get off the plane, get in the car, and come to this event to see these volunteers who are working so hard for their community. It's just inspiring. It really is.
I don't know if you know this, but I went to Agora High. And I also went to USC, and I'm also a fellow Jew from Brentwood. So I mean, we should be hanging all the time. There we go. But to that point, how has California, living here, shaped your worldview as you now travel all around the country?
It's interesting. I'm an entertainment lawyer from the West Side, basically, and being able to travel the country, first on the Biden-Harris campaign, and then as second gentleman for the past year and a couple of days, it's really opened my eyes. How about you? Hello. Just listening like I did today, just talking to folks and then bringing it back. So for me, I've gotten so much out of this by getting out of our beautiful community, but seeing the rest of this beautiful country. It's just been amazing.
And you've had this unique sort of opportunity and challenge of kind of creating your own role, right? Yeah. There had never been a male second gentleman before. How do you see that role? What are you trying to accomplish as you travel over 31 states now?
Well, let's level set. I'm only here because the country elected the first woman vice president. That happens to be my wife, Kamala Harris. So I'm only here because of that. And I'm really, first and foremost, still husband, dad, and looking after those obligations. So I really approach everything really as a father, but that's really helped me in this role as second gentleman, because I think I'm kind of a generalist. I just raise my hand and they send me out there, and it's been amazing. It's a lot of vaccination work, but it's food, it's been legal aid, and some fun stuff where naturalization ceremonies. I got to throw the first pitch at a Nationals game.
Great pitch. One more round of applause for the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff.
All the things you've seen on TV your whole life, where the Super Bowl champs come to the White House. I'm there talking to Tom Brady. So it's just been an incredible experience, but it's really to do the work for the people.
What would you say to those of us single guys about supporting a strong woman? Any advice in terms of that? What you've learned about that?
We have to support women, period, and not just talk about it, not just think you're doing it, but actually doing it with deeds and not just words. And so for me, it was when she had this opportunity, it was stepping away from my primary career as a lawyer. and unequivocally, absolutely yes, to do it. And I think men need to step up because, COVID has been so horrible, but it's been really horrible for working women, a lot of whom have had to step away from the workplace, take care of kids, homeschooling, and all the things we've seen. It's just not fair. It's just completely not fair. Men need to step up. And you, single guys, be an ally.
Yeah.
Be an ally.
Yeah.
And be ready when you do settle down to be supportive.
I mean, what's your advice for dating or convincing a strong woman to marry you?
You just got to be yourself, and you got to be supportive and kind and be there for them, and without any questions asked. And that's what I've always tried to do.
You know that there have been critics of your wife. That comes with the territory. Some of the poll numbers have not been particularly strong. What do you say to the critics of your wife? What do you think that they're not seeing that you see?
Look, first of all, we don't really pay attention to that stuff. I mean, polls go up and down, and she's just focused on the work that she was elected to do, which in this case is Vice President of the United States, at a time where we're facing a once-in-a-century pandemic, economic devastation, climate devastation. There's so many things that have been happening in this past year, and they've done a great job. American Rescue Plan, the Infrastructure Act, and she's out in San Bernardino with the governor on supporting firefighters. My brother's a firefighter. The president mentioned he's going to be out on the road. So we're just all about the work. We don't pay attention to that stuff. We don't have time for it.
So you don't, at the end of the day, just vent to each other, oh my God, this person's such a jerk?
Alex, what we talk about? It's usually the only time in the day that we have for each other because we're both so busy, running so fast. So usually if we're able to have dinner together, it's, how was your day? And she's more interested in all the things that I've done, and I tell her all about it. And then it's kind of like, okay, what's on Netflix? And poke around for 20 minutes, can't find something, and go to bed.
Right.
And get ready for the next day.
I can relate to that. So we're in Jewish Family Services right now, literally with kosher stuff behind you. You are the first, Jew in this sort of role. I know it was very exciting for you during Hanukkah to be able to be in that place. At this moment when anti-Semitism seems to be creeping back in an alarming way, what is your message on that front and the responsibility you feel as a Jew in this role?
I feel a heavy responsibility, and it's not something I realized until I got into it, and I really felt it during the big virtual Passover where tens of thousands of people.
Hi everyone, Hi Samea, happy Passover.
Logged in, and then even to this day, Jews of all stripes and people of all stripes, it doesn't matter what party, have come up to me and told me how meaningful that was, that representation, and how meaningful me being in this role is to them. So I take it very, very, very seriously. On the subject of anti-Semitism, it's a bigger topic. It's really an epidemic of hate that we're seeing. We all need to step up on this.
And just to end on a couple quick, fun questions, can you tell us something about your wife that we might not know that's kind of fun or interesting about her?
She's actually really funny. She loves music, and she is an amazing chef. I won't even say cook, chef. She's incredible, and I'm beneficiary of that.
Yeah, we've talked with her about the chicken that she loves to make.
Yeah.
What's your favorite recipe? Walk me through it.
Roast chicken.
It's great.
So this is something we call personal issues. This is 30-second rapid fire sort of cultural questions. You ready to go? What is your favorite TV show to watch right now?
Oh, right now, Peacemaker. I just started watching that. It's very good.
That's fitting. Favorite sports team?
New York Football Giants. It's because I'm actually was born in New York and spent the first part of my life in New Jersey. I'm hoping for a rebirth.
Dodgers would have been a smarter answer here, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah, Dodgers. You didn't say baseball team.
Yeah,
Dodgers by far,
yeah.
Lakers by far. Longtime season ticket holder for both.
Who's your favorite musical artist?
Oh God, I'd probably say R.E.M.
Okay.
I'm old school. I graduated Agora High in '82. Right at the height of alt music. So I haven't changed much.
And lastly, if your wife loves to cook chicken for you, what do you love to cook for your wife?
I'm all about the eggs. I'm like a master of scrambled eggs, and that's my specialty.
Well, Doug Emhoff, thank you so much for the time. I guess I should say go Chargers, right? Go Northridge, fight on USC, L'Chaim. I don't know which else we could get in there, but we appreciate the time.
Thanks.
Great to see you.
You got it, bud. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Up next, the issue is rising crime in California. We're joined by Anne-Marie Schubert, candidate for California Attorney General. Stay with us.
We are completely devastated, and I can't even fathom what the family is going through right now.
This week, the murder of Brianna Kupfer garnered national attention. The 24-year-old was stabbed to death while working in a furniture store in Hancock Park. Police say she was killed in a random attack by Sean Laval Smith, a homeless man with a long criminal history. This is one of so many local crimes causing concern across our state. Our guest this week is running to be California's top cop, and she's critical of some of the Democrats' criminal justice reforms. Anne-Marie Schubert is currently the district attorney of Sacramento County. She's running for California Attorney General as an independent after being a lifelong Republican. Anne-Marie Schubert, welcome to The Issue Is for the very first time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it very much.
All right, so what is the most important thing that can be done right now to stop this crime spree?
Oh, I think get control of these rogue prosecutors that are not holding people accountable and really getting in there as a real prosecutor and really doing the work that needs to be done in reforming some of these poor public policies that we have.
When you say rogue prosecutors, I know you've publicly sparred with George Gascon, the LA County District Attorney, and also Chesa Bowden, the San Francisco District Attorney.
Right.
What specifically do you want to see done when it comes to them? And if you're in that job as California Attorney General, what do you do differently?
First of all, they're dismantling the system from within. And I've heard people say we're melting from within. You know, you've got people like Gascon who has come out, the first day he was sworn in with a bunch of policies saying, I'm not going to enforce this. I'm not going to ever file gang enhancements. I'm not going to file special circumstances. Doesn't matter if you kill one person or 10 people, you're going to get treated the same. We're going to let people out of prison after certain periods of time. Those are the types of things we're talking about. But as the AG, the AG has the constitutional authority to step in when a prosecutor is not doing their job. They have supervisory powers, and that's something I would do because what's happening in LA is you shouldn't have to have a prosecutors union sue their boss to actually do his job and enforce the law. And so as the Attorney General, I have every intention to make sure that if he's not doing his job, that he does it. And if he doesn't do it, I will do it for him. For instance, parole hearings. He doesn't send people to parole hearings. That's an obligation that I believe should happen. And I will make sure that that does occur so we can stand up for crime victims and have a voice for them in this system.
So essentially, you'd be taking away cases from him?
Potentially, if they abuse their discretion. I mean, look what happened in this latest case with the murder of the LA police officer. That case was taken to the federal prosecutors. I'm quite sure it's because of the policies and the directives of George Gascon.
Yeah, and well, the sheriff, Alex Villanueva, basically said that he was doing that as a workaround from LA County District Attorney George Gascon. The current Attorney General, Rob Bonta, was appointed by Governor Newsom last year to that job. What would be the biggest difference between you and AG Bonta in terms of the substance of actually being the AG?
First of all, I'm a real prosecutor. I've spent 30 plus years in this business. He has never spent a day in a courtroom, nor has he sat with a crime victim in terms of being the actual prosecutor. We're very different. He is aligned with the ideology of Gascon and Bodine. He's a champion of those policies and those types of prosecutors. So the lanes are very clear. If we think what's happening in California right now with the rampant violent crime, theft, it's not just that this is occurring. It's the fact that when it does occur in those types of jurisdictions, you have prosecutors who do not want to hold people accountable to the extent that they can be. And Rob Bonta is cut in the same fabric of those two types of prosecutors.
Let's talk for a moment about the politics of this. How do you actually pull this off? You are running as an independent after spending years as a Republican. There has been no Republican win statewide since 2006. No independent has ever won statewide.
Right.
This state is very Democratic. So how do you actually win when Democrats may be looking to vote for Democrats and Republicans may be looking to vote for Republicans?
I'm not a politician. I've never considered myself one. Yeah, I was a registered Republican. I'm a prosecutor. Okay, I stand up for crime victims. I stand up for public safety. Public safety is not an R or a D issue. Everybody wants the same thing. No matter their zip code, their race, their gender, they want to feel safe in their communities. For me, I believe very strongly that the role of the district attorney is a nonpartisan position. The role of the attorney general should be as well. How am I going to win this? I'm going to be relentless, just like I was on many of these cases that, people know about, whether it's on EDD, whether it's on the Golden State Killer. I am very proud of the support I'm gaining across the state. And I feel very strongly that we are at a place in California where people are fed up with what's going on. People want to get a handle on what's happening. As I said to a group of folks last night, it is not compassionate to let people die in the streets from drug addiction and mental health. And violent crime is rampant. We have to get a handle on it because people should not spend their time at cocktail parties talking about how they can leave California, how can we control violent crime, and how can we deal with the homeless problem in California. We need to fix what's going on here in California, and I can do that.
Well, part of what you've done in the past is prosecute one of the biggest cases in the history of California, the Golden State Killer. We're going to talk about that when we come back. You're also going to play our personal issues game to get to know you. Yeah. Get ready for that. But first, as we go to break, the Above Los Angeles Instagram account takes us above the Venice Canals. What a beautiful shot this is. Stay with us.
There were upwards of 50 rapes, 12 murders, crimes that spanned 10 years across at least 10 different counties.
That was Anne-Marie Schubert, who successfully prosecuted the Golden State Killer case. Joseph DeAngelo committed at least 13 murders, 50 rapes, 120 burglaries across California in the 70s and 80s, then eluded authorities for decades until he was finally brought to justice. Anne-Marie Schubert is now running for Attorney General of California. Anne-Marie, how did prosecuting that case shape your worldview and potentially shape your thinking going into the job of Attorney General?
Well, I think the case started to shape me when I was a kid because I grew up in the neighborhoods where this person was breaking into homes and raping women. And so it was something that it really did change Sacramento. And so it always stuck with me. And then when I started doing DNA cases as a prosecutor, I started to realize the power of the technology. And then ultimately, my involvement in that case was around 2000 or so. So I knew about the case for many, many years, very passionate about it, as many folks were in law enforcement. I think what it shapes for me is that I believe very strongly that passion and persistence is oftentimes the key to solving things, whether it's crimes or problems or anything of that nature. And I'm just incredibly proud of the work that was done on that case. Really, ultimately, for those crime victims and their families to have answers and to make sure that that person never gets out of prison, ever.
Let's talk a little bit about you, because I think this is an introduction for a lot of people for you around the state. Not only would you be California's first nonpartisan Attorney General, but also the first openly LGBT Attorney General. You're also a mother. How do both of those facts shape your perspective?
Well, I think first of all, it's not a secret I'm gay. I'm proud of that. I love who I love. As a mom, I want the same thing that everybody else wants. I want my kids to grow up to be good, human beings and citizens. I want my children to feel safe in their neighborhoods. I want, I want all the successes that any parent wants or but at the end of the day, it shapes me because I believe in the beauty of the diversity of the state. I believe in the importance of our children being raised in a state that's the most beautiful, but it also right now has probably the most significant challenges.
We want to get to know you a little bit better. We play a game on this show called Personal Issues. This is where we put 30 seconds up on the clock,
all right.
Rapid fire questions, cultural stuff. You ready?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. What is your favorite TV show?
Oh, Yellowstone right now.
It's great. Who's your favorite sports team?
Probably the 49ers growing up.
Who's your favorite musical artist?
Right now it's Adele.
All right. What is your favorite meal to eat?
Oh my goodness. A very nice piece of salmon.
All right. And who is your role model?
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm out of time, but I would say strong, powerful women, and there's many of them that I would say.
There are so many across the state. All right, well, one of them that you mentioned is Adele, who is a strong and powerful woman. So as we go to break, we like to play music on this show, and we encourage our guests to dance. So we go to break with your favorite.
That is not going to happen.
Your
I would
favorite
like to get elected.
All right. Now to your favorite artist, Adele, and your chance to rock out to Rollin' in the Deep. We'll be right back. This is as close as the general public can get to the inauguration. You see here fencing, plus barbed wires, and National Guardsmen on the other side. A year ago this week, we reported from Washington during an unprecedented inauguration. Temperatures were low, but tensions were high following an insurrection, impeachment, and at the height of the deadly pandemic. A year later, the country's mood is still pretty somber and still pretty divided. But one moment of unity from that week stood out, and we wanted to share it with you once again. It was when Garth Brooks, a Republican, sang a song that has brought Americans together for generations. So we end this week, as we ended 1 year ago, with Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.